Blankets and gloves were abound at Ron Post Stadium Friday night with the weather cooling down. That didn't stop the fans, though, from piling in to witness one of the marquee matchups of the year. Hello and welcome to Sports Talk. I'm Tyler Sloan. Unfortunately for the Boyd Broncos, a sophomore quarterback from Allen stole the show in a loss to the Eagles. Head coach Don Drake is here to revisit the game and explain how his squad will regroup for the final 2 weeks. McKinney North were determined in a must-win game over Greenville and came away with a solid win. Mike Fetchy will join us to preview an exciting matchup next week with Wiley East. And McKinney found themselves in a shootout with Plano West, but ran out of ammo in the second half. We'll have Jeff Smith in studio and the highlights from that game. All of this action and the Dennis Baker State Farm Scholar Athlete of the Week next on Sports Talk. It was a wild one for the McKinney Lions against Plano West last week. A total of 100 points scored between the two teams. Unfortunately for McKinney, they came out on the other end, the wrong end of that effort. 64-36, the final score. I'm joined by head coach Jeff Smith. And coach, offensively, things really worked well for your team. You were clicking, but defensively, Plano West and Travis Corey, they were just too much tonight.
You know, it was I mean, the first half was back and forth, two teams just giving the best they had, and we were right there. Our kids really battled, and was real proud of their effort. Plano West is a good football team, and we knew that going in, especially offensively. They've been putting up big points on a lot of good people all year long, and so they were healthy. They had all their running backs back, their quarterback back, and he was ready to go, and their offensive line, and so it was, they're a good football team. We give them a lot of credit too. But second half was really where they separated. We made a few mistakes in the third quarter, and it cost us.
Well, we'll get rolling on the highlights because there are several to get to. You open up the game and you drive down in their territory twice, and you come up with a couple costly fumbles that could have resulted in scores. You could have been up by more in the first half.
That's true, and you hate to see that, and we've seen that a time or two this year where we've taken points off the board, and we had a fumble on the 1-yard line going into score, and then one on, I guess, probably around the 20 or 25-yard line. That the first two drives, and it's hard to hard to justify that. I mean, you never want to take points off the board.
You stop Plano West on their first drive, but they'll convert on their second try. They go for two. They take an 8-0 lead. So you're going to get the ball back here in a second on this possession, but there's a long run by, I believe is that Shannon or Candela on that one?
Tommy Candela. Yeah, he just did a really good job, on the counter play and getting it up in there. And you're right, we did go down and respond and scored after they scored on us.
Yeah, you're going to get a kickoff return from Jonathan Shannon coming up an 85-yard score. That'll cut it to 8-7. Defensively, you give up 64 points, but as you saw there, several plays were able to get into the backfield and sack the quarterback.
Yeah, our defense did some really good things too. We had some sacks. We forced them into some third and long situations and things of that nature. We didn't convert on as many of those third and longs as we liked, but our kids did some good things on defense as well.
So here's Shannon with the kickoff return. You'll get your first points of the game, cut it to 8-7, and it was really a back and forth affair here in the first half. You would score, Plano West would answer, you would answer back.
Right, and we were kind of playing from behind. They scored first on us, and but our kids responded. We got that kick return, and then they scored just right after this drive right here to finish this one off. We did make a play really right there, forced a third down, but they ended up scoring on that possession, and then we got the ball back and threw the ball to Connor Fuentes here in a minute, and he made a lot of people miss, like Connor has done all year long, and finds the end zone. Just a great effort right here to tie it up, or bring us closer, excuse me.
And that makes it 15-13. 67-yard touchdown pass from Sonborn, your quarterback, threw for 410 yards in this game. He ended up throwing for more yards than any other quarterback in the area.
Yeah, I mean, he had a great night, but you ask Robert, and he'll take the win over that any day. He was disappointed like we all were not winning the game. But, yeah, we were able to throw the ball a little bit on them and convert in that fashion.
That was a 4th and 8 play. That was a touchdown pass to Dalen Willis. How about the call on 4th and long?
Well, it was kind of a play where we were going to see if we could get them to jump, and they didn't, or actually they did, and it let us throw the deep ball, and we were able to convert. So that was a good thing for us. And then we get a stop right here. We do a really good job stopping the run right here. I thought we did a really good job stopping the run the first half. Get a sack right here on 3rd and long, and so we get the ball back with probably 3 minutes to go before half.
Yeah, so key in the game that's a back and forth. Both offenses are clicking. If you can get one of those stops and convert, that's really going to help your cause, and you do so on this drive. You're going to take a 29-22 lead. Matt Reynolds is going to have a 2-yard touchdown run. Then Sonborn will throw to Fuentes for a 2-point conversion.
That's right, and this is just a big play right here by Fuentes again. It's 3rd down and long, and we get the first down, and that really kept our drive alive. We might have had to settle for a field goal or had to go for it, and then right here Matt Reynolds gets it in the end zone, and we take the lead for the first time in the game. And so the momentum really changed for us. We were excited. But it didn't take but one possession, and they take a play the other way for a touchdown with probably 45 seconds to go in the half.
Right. You think when you score the minute left in the half that you're probably going to come away with that halftime lead. Instead, Plano West with the big 80-yard play ties it up at half at 29-all. They start the 3rd quarter with a drive to take the lead, and then at this point in the game, Robert Sonborn threw a couple of interceptions, and Plano West really capitalized on it.
Well, it's probably six minutes. The last minute before half, we didn't seal the deal, and then, the first 6 minutes of the 3rd quarter, which we as coaches always talk about as one of the most critical times in the game. They first of all they went down and executed, came out and scored on us, and then we 3-and-outed, and then. After that, we get the ball back, and it was just kind of they were getting stops. We either turned it over or we had a mistake in the kicking game, and they really jumped on that, and they took that momentum and ran with it. And so they really extended the lead right there and, took the momentum and did a good job as a football team, and we didn't respond as well as we needed to in that situation. We needed to step up and make a play and stop the bleeding, and we didn't. And so that's really that part in the 3rd quarter is where they really distanced themselves. And excuse me. And so we did score one later touchdown to Candela on a screen play. It was really nice, and I was proud of the kids for that. And battling, the whole game. They kept battling. But Plano West ended up getting us in the end.
Yeah, they just happened to pull away at the end. Several receivers had a big game. Connor Fuentes, of course. Shannon had 6 receptions for 101 yards, and T.V. Williams had 6 catches as well. Sonborn did a nice job of spreading it out, and everybody really seemed to get some touches on offense. Really helped your cause as far as Plano West not being able to focus on one guy.
Yeah, and a lot of teams that we talk to, and I talk to coaches before the game, they just talk about, specifically that core of receivers and running backs and Robert, and just good players, and that, wow, you guys have a lot of good weapons over there, and they have been like that all year, and we put a lot on their plate and ask them to do a lot, and they've done a good job all year, and so obviously it's good when you can spread it out, and you've got a lot of weapons, and we do, and so that's a good thing, and we're going to need them this week. I mean, we're going to need everybody full systems go this week as we play Allen, and obviously they're at the top of the district in the standings right now, and a good team, and we're going to need all those weapons, and we're going to need to step it up on defense and do what we do.
And Plano West hurt you a couple of times with some big plays, some big screen plays that went for a ton of yards for touchdowns. Allen's another team, as you mentioned, that can make the big play. Against McKinney Boyd this last Friday, their quarterback Kyler Murray had a big 67-yard touchdown run. How do you stop the big play against Allen?
Well, it's for them. It starts up front. They've got a big offensive line, and they're going to run the football. They're going to run the zone play, and the Murray kid has really emerged as a great player for him with his feet, but also with his arm. He makes he doesn't make too many mistakes for being a sophomore. He does a really good job, and he makes a lot of really good plays with his feet. And so we've got to do a really good job containing him and not letting him make a big play with his feet. But also Oliver Pierce, number 26, is just a great player. And we've got to find a way to stop him and contain him as well. And you're right, it all comes down to tackling. It all comes down to doing what we do and keeping everything in front of us and making them work. We don't need to give them any long plays like we did last week. And some of those were from missed tackles and different things. Also, just a couple of players making some really exceptional plays. And Allen's got some of those players too. And so we've got to do a good job this week of recognizing where they're at and keeping everything in front of us and doing a good job of gang tackling.
Your players are going to know a lot about this Allen team. They're going to hear about how they're state ranked. They're going to talk to their friends from Boyd and hear about their win against McKinney-Boyd last week. And they're going to know Allen has won state championships in the past. With all of that said, how do you help your kids in the factor that they need to believe in themselves coming into this game, even when, history would say that Allen should be able to win this game?
Well, Allen's a great team, and our kids know that. But you know what? Our kids believe we're a good team. Even though we had a setback last week, I'm so proud of these kids, and just what they've done this year. And I told them that the other day. I'm just so proud of everything that they've done, and we're not satisfied with losing. Losing is not acceptable to us. It happens sometimes, but we expect to win every game, and our kids believe that all year long, that when we step on the field, we're going to win. And it hasn't happened every time, but it's happened 5 times. And what we've got to do is we've got to believe that we're going to win that game and do what we do to be successful. And we know Allen's good, but the great thing about football in Texas is every Friday night you have a chance, and you go out there and you do what you do and you play hard. And our kids have played hard all year long. I'm just so proud of our effort and the way they play the game. And that's been the case the whole year. And I don't expect anything less. Our kids will play hard this week and will give great effort. And we're going to believe they're going to win the game. And that's the mentality we're going to take into that game. And we'll see what happens.
Well, I don't doubt for a second that your kids are going to give everything they have against Allen. Coach, thanks again for joining us here on Sports Talk. And for next week, it's a big game against Allen. They're a tough opponent, but stranger things have happened in Texas high school football. Watch out, the McKinney Lions, with 1 win so far in district play, with another win, could be in a good position to make the playoffs.